Welcome to my channel, and I'm here to inspire you, give you crochet advice, and help you along with your next project. If you enjoyed this pattern, please give me a thumbs up or even comment so I can gauge your interest. It helps me to know what to film next. I'm not very formal. Here's today's zinger. I buy yarn on 2 occasions. 1, when I need it, and 2, when I don't. I know, it's so bad today. Let's begin today's tutorial. Welcome back to the Crochet Corrados with my friends over at yarnspirations.com. We have a beginner level project for you today. This is called Baby's First Cluster Crochet Hat. There are 4 sizes in this pattern, and all 4 sizes will be in today's video. I'm going to give you the strategy in just a bit. There's 2 preemie sizes on this one, 3 to 4 pounds and also 5 to 6 pounds. We have newborn of 7 to 9 pounds, and up to 3 months is 10 to 12 pounds. So what I'm going to do is break down this pattern, and there's new technology since the last time this was filmed, and so therefore everything's gonna come together in one solo video. So before we get too far into it, this video has video chapters, and so if you look at the chapters by scrolling the bar underneath the player window, you can see where you are in the video. So this particular hat has rounds 1 and 2 being the same for all 4 sizes, and then from there each one of the sizes takes a detour, and it takes a detour for either 1 or 2 rounds, and then from there they all pick back up again, and then they all have the same ending. So what I'm going to do is just explain to you what those detours are next, and I'm gonna show you to you on a diagram format. Since the last time I gave this to you there was no diagram, so I had Daniel draft these up for me, and basically there's an imbalance of the particular type of hat this is. Now people email all the time, I have like a such and such kid and my other kid's this size, what do I need to do to transition the math? So in particular examples like this is not a mathematical calculation but an actual sizing calculation. So therefore the adjustments from getting from the 3 to 4 pounds all the way to the up 10 to 12 pounds is actually not a mathematical, but it's actually figuring it out as you know, for an actual fit. So each one of the sizes do not have like a mathematical that you could just take your calculator and bang it in and therefore you have the math. So what we have to do is in round number 3 is when everybody takes a slight turn in the course, and then on the 3 larger sizes then number 4 is something special, and then they all pick up again from that point. So let me just take you in and show you a little bit more. So here in the diagram you'll notice that number 1 and 2 are looking like this. So I put literally in red every time that there is 2 double crochets that are being slammed in between 2 existing already. So if it's going into a space I just kept it black, and then if it's red it's going in between 2. So in this particular one we have 7 to 9 pounds, and we have here is that the round number 3 will have 16 groups going all the way around, and then round number 4 is 19 groups. So you know it goes from 16 to 19, so it's kind of a weird kind of adjustment, isn't it? So when you look at the next size up you will notice that it's slightly different in the way that the math is being done, and you end up with 21 groups here. So my point being is that when we go to do number 3, each one of the number 3s are unique to itself, but only the 3 larger sizes have an additional 4th round that is special. You'll need a US 7 or 4.5 millimeter size crochet hook and Caron Simply Soft. What I'm going to do for you today is that I'm going to, this is the original, so what I'm going to do for you in this just getting started, I'm gonna use a L hook. Okay, it's a bigger, it's an 8 millimeter with thicker yarn, so you can exactly see where to stick your stitches, because I think it'll be more helpful this time around because it's the second time I'm filming it. So let's begin and start our journey. So let's begin. I'm going to be teaching this pattern. If you want to learn crochet from scratch, this is not really the right video for you on learning how to hold your hook and yarn. We have other videos for that, but here I'm going to show you how to do this pattern from a beginner point of view. So let's create our slip knot, and I'll try to go nice and slow for you. So remember, just wrap it around your finger twice and then pinch. Play the game of leapfrog. So this strand goes over this one, and then this strand goes up and over, and that's your starting slip knot. I'll show you again. So around your finger twice and pinch. Play the game of leapfrog. So leap on over, and then grab the new one and go right up over top of your finger, and then slide your hook in, and then just pull it to the hook, but don't over tighten to the hook. And now let's begin. So we're going to chain 3. So let's begin to do that. So you just have to move your hook and collect the yarn and turn the hook upside down and pull through. And that will be considered number 1. And you want to do that 3 times. So move the hook in, turn the hook over, this is 2, and this is 3. Remember that I'm using an oversized hook and yarn to demonstrate today. Make sure you do slide your yarn down to the shaft itself. This thickness is what's determining the thickness of the stitches. And let's begin to go around on number 1. The pattern doesn't state this, but what you just did for a chain is not counting as a stitch in the future, so just keep an eye on that. So I want you to come all the way to the 3rd chain away, and I want you to do a half double crochet. So you're gonna wrap the hook, scoop it, and then go right into the 3rd chain, and then scoop the yarn and pull through. That's called yarn over too. I say scoop, but it's called yarn over. And then once you have 3 loops, pull through all 3. And you need to do that a total of 8 times. So that was number 1. So rowboat it back, so scoop it, yarn over, going in to the same stitch, yarn over, pull through, and then pull through all 3. This is 2. This straggler, just wrap it so it's like part of the ring and it'll catch underneath. So scoop, so yarn over, pull through all 3. It's number 3. So I will refrain from explaining it, I'll just do it. So let's do the next one, I'll just count them. It's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now you're noticing that there's a hole in the center. When you do it in regular size yarn, it's really small. Now I want you to attach this to the first half double crochet. If you're not sure which one it is, just count back 8. So starting with the one right below the hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. The 8th one is where you're going to do a slip stitch and pull this in. So just yarning over it and through, and that will complete that circle. And that was round number 1. Round number 2 is the same for everybody. So right where you're sitting, I need you to chain 3. So just yarning over, pulling through once and twice and 3 times. And do you see where that's attached to? That's your first stitch in this particular project. So that's where you're gonna apply your first double crochet. So you had been doing half double crochet, now you're doing double crochet. So you're gonna wrap the hook, so yarning over and go into the exact same stitch where this is coming out of. It just goes straight on back, yarn over, pull through. I'll demonstrate this a few times. Now instead of pulling through all 3 loops, you're yarning over and pulling just through 2 and through 2, and that's a double crochet. So the chain 3 and this counts as 1 double crochet each. Now to move on to the next one, before you do, you have to chain 1. So just yarning over, chain 1. And now use this next stitch as your next one. So the 2 double crochets are going to share this stitch. So yarn over and then yarning over and then yarn over, pull through 2 and 2. Let's do it again, same stitch, yarn over and in, yarning over and through, yarning over and 2 and yarning over 2. So once you have 2 in there, you're ready to move on, but before you do that, you're going to chain 1 and then do the next one. So let's just do it. So I'll say it again. So yarning over and through, yarn over and through, yarn over and two, and yarn over and two. And I'll say it one more time. So yarn over and through, pull through two and two. And now you're ready for the next one. So before you do it, chain one, and then I'm now going to stop going through all the mini instructions. So I'll start counting in sets of two. So just yarning over and in. So there's one in there, you do another one. Yarn over, just pull one chain so that you can move on and do the next one. So you can put me on pause at any time to catch up if I'm going too quick for you. And now I'm going to speed up a little bit further. So chain one, next one, chain one, chain one. And now if you're absolutely a beginner, where you're going to mess up will be the very final one, which is right at this moment. So it appears that you have an extra stitch left over. This is not a stitch, this is leaning over in towards this. This is part of that first one. So before you finish, you're going to chain one, and then you're just going to slip stitch to the top of this chain three. And when you do it, you always end up with a little bit of an extra bigger space when you go to do slip stitching. That is normal, so if that's happening to you, do not fret that. And this is the end of round number two. Before you go on, you need to make sure you have 8 sets of these groupings of 2 double crochets. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And once you have their 8 done, you're ready. So if you went over top of your straggler, then you can safely cut that down, and now you're ready for the individual sizes for moving on in the rounds. So we're now going to move on to the 3 to 4 preemie size in the next part, but use the video chapters if you're using a different size to be able to scroll ahead or back in time. So welcome to the 3 to 4 pound preemie size, and what we're going to do is we've just finished round number 2. So when we go to start, everything in the red is going in between 2 double crochets, and anything in black is going to go into a chain 1 space. So our goal is that we need to have 13 groups by the time we're done this. It says that, so, and it says that on the pattern as well. So if you look carefully, see these red? There's an additional 5 there, so 8 plus 5 equals 13. So that's where these are going into those to make room so that we can move on in the pattern. So my goal here is to show you now how to do this round, and then you're gonna pick up in the next round later on in the video when it says all rounds, and that's in the video chapter saying all rounds. So let's show you how to do number 3 for the 3 to 4 pound size. Let's start. Right where we're sitting is the wrong place to be starting. We need to start in between these 2 double crochets, noticing how they're all grouped in sets of 2. So I need you to slip stitch, so just going in between the space, yarn over and pulling it through and through, and that just shifted you, so now that you're in the center of these 2. So whenever we're working with this particular pattern, in red is when we're separating these 2, and the black are in the chain 1 spaces. So let's begin. You're gonna chain 3. So 1, 2, and 3. You're then going to, in the same space where this is double crochet. Just like that. You ready? The next 2 chain 1 spaces, you can clearly see them. Your sample may be a little smaller, but it's still there. Those are the 2 that you're going to play with next. So you're just going to double crochet twice into each one of those chain 1 spaces. So we did the first one, and then we're gonna make sure the second one goes in there. Noticing that I'm not chaining one in between anything. Come to the next space and do the same thing. Okay, ready for more? The next one is going to go in between these two double crochets, just like how we started off. So we're just gonna separate those two by just double crocheting in between that group. So everything is in sets of 2. Now the next 2 chain 1 spaces, and this is not repeating all the way around in the same way, so just stay tuned. So the next 2 spaces are 2 double crochet each. Okay, so we now have that done. The next one is going to be in between the 2 groups, in between the 2 double crochets, sorry. So we're gonna put it in between, just slide it in between. Here's what's special. The next one is in the next space, the chain 1 space. So 2 into that one. The next one is in between these 2 double crochets that are together, so right in that gapping space in between. You can see that on the diagram as well. Okay, the next one is in the space, that chain 1 space. The next one is in between 2 double crochet. Okay, the next one is in the space there, the chain 1 space. Your goal is to get to 13 groups. The last one of the round is actually in between these 2 double crochets. It's not in that chain space at all, which is kind of surprising, but you know, it is an odd number, so something has to be sacrificed in order to make that happen. So before you join it, I want you to count the number of groups that you have. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. There's your 13 groups, and when you're happy with that, just reach on over and come to the top of the first and just slip stitch and pull it in. And everything comes in balance, and just flip this way. And now you're technically ready then for the remaining of this. So in the video I need you to fast forward now to all rounds. Use the video chapters to find that, and that's where you're gonna pick me up next. So 3 and 4 for the sizing is now done, and now we're gonna continue with the body of the hat. So go to all sizes next. Let's begin the 5 to 6 preemie size. So rounds number 3 and 4 are unique to this round. And in round number 3 we're going to transition ourselves to get to 12 groups by the end of the round. So the ones in red right here, 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 and here, this one's not marked red but it should be, those are gonna be in between 2 double crochets itself. The ones in black are in the chain 1 spaces. So our goal is to make sure that we get ourselves to 12 groups by the end of round number 3. We're then going to transition to round number 4, and in round number 4 our goal is to get 16 groups, and that's a nice easy repeat in order to make that happen. So let's begin round number 3 and 4 for the 5 to 6 size. Let's begin round number 3 for the preemie size, 5 to 6 pounds. Right where we're sitting is incorrect. We need to get ourselves in between the group itself. So you're just gonna reach in, yarning over, pulling it through and through. And so now you're ready to go, and you're in between that group. Okay, so there's a chain 1 space, and then this is between a group. So let's do this, and we're gonna chain 3. So 1, 2 and 3. In the same one you're going to double crochet. If anything goes wrong, just make sure that you have 12 groups at the end of this round. Now you're not gonna chain one like we had been before, and what I need you to do is that the next one will be one double crochet, or sorry, 2 double crochets into the next chain one space. The next one will be going right in between this group. So just going right in and just put it in between. So it technically should be red on the diagram. The next 2 chain one spaces are each going to be 2 double crochet. You can put me on pause at any time if you need that. Okay, you ready for more instructions? The next one is gonna go in between the next group. Okay, moving on. The next 2 are in these chain one spaces. So you put a group in each of those. So 2 double crochets in each. Okay, the next one is gonna go in between this right here, in between this group. Okay, the next 2 in a row will each be in this chain spaces 1 and 2. And finally the last one is gonna go in between the group right there, and this takes you all the way around. Now before you move on, I need you to verify the count. I need you to verify that there's actually 12 groups of 2. So start with the first one. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 and 12. If something is wrong, just make sure you get 12 in there that looks evenly spaced, and it should work out for you. Come into the top of the first chain 3 and you're going to slip stitch, pull things nice and tight, and that will seal the deal and bring it together. Okay, and now we're ready for number 4 of the 5 to 6 pounds next. Round number 4 is a nice incremental build that repeats itself over and over and over, so it's not just changing around like the last round was. So we're now going to shift ourselves, and we're gonna have to get ourselves in between the first group. So you're just gonna slip stitch in to get there and then through. So you should be separating these 2 double crochets to start. Now chain 3 and then double crochet into the same one. Okay, so the next space is in between the groups. So you have this space between a group, that space in between a group, and this space is all 3 of the locations of the next groups that you're going to do. So just separate the groups between each other and put 2 double crochets in each. So just count them out. So we have 1 and go between the next group space right there, and 2, and then the next one right there. That's your third. Okay, so here's gonna be becoming your repeat pattern for the remaining of your round. The next one is gonna go in between these 2 double crochets. And then the next groups, between the groups, so you have 1 and then 2 and 3 are going to be your next 3 locations. That's gonna be your repeat going around. So now you got your 3 groups in. So you're gonna repeat this again. It's the same repeat. So you're going to separate these 2 double crochets and put in 2 double crochets in there. And now the groups between, so you have 1, 2 and 3 are each going to be the next spaces that you put in your another groups. Okay, and finally you have one more repeat to do before you're done. So you're gonna come in between the 2 double crochets and put in another group there. And then your final 3 spots that you have left. Do you see those? 1, 2 and 3, and that's gonna be where the final 3 are. So your goal is to get 16 groups. So if something is wrong, just make sure you can see 16 groups. You can get away with a lot of stuff in crochet if it's not quite right. And it doesn't make it a mistake, it just makes it improvisation, which is fine. So the last 3 are in. So what I need you to do is I need you to count 16 groups before you're finished. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 and 16. So then once you confirm you have 16, you're going to join it, and now you're ready for the all rounds, which is next. So fast forward in the video to that section, and from there you're gonna pick it up and you'll notice that this is a different size than obviously the smaller. So this was the 5 to 6 pounds, and I'll see you on all sizes next to go to the next level, and I'll be right back in a moment. So let's now work on the newborn size 7 to 9 pounds. This is gonna be the most popular part of the tutorial, I believe. Mostly newborn sizes are the most popular. So first 1 and 2 have already been done, and in round number 3 we're going to expand. So in the preemie sizes that we took a couple rounds to get ourselves to 16 groups, this time in round number 3 we're going to immediately jump to ourselves to 16 groups immediately, and it's a nice easy repeat in order to have that happen. It's going to be round number 4 within this one where we're going to transition to an odd number group, which is going to be 19, which requires us to strategically count. And so again, the ones in red are the ones that are being placed in between 2 double crochets in order to make room for space. And so you just gotta pay attention to how things finish and how they start, and that's what we're going to do. So we're gonna pick up on round number 3 for the 7 to 9 pounds, which is the newborn size. Let's begin the 7 to 9 pounds, which is the newborn size. And what we're going to be doing here is that we need to get from where we are now to 16 groups immediately. So in the preemie sizes that were earlier, it took us 2 rounds to get to 16 groups. This time we're immediately gonna get 16 groups right off the hop. To start, we're going to go in between 2 double crochets itself. So don't worry about the spaces yet. So just going in and in. This is called the slip stitch. And so what you're doing is you're moving this over so that you're in between 2 double crochets. So everything's either in groups or they're in between 2 double crochets. Chain 3. So 1, 2 and 3, and in the same one that you're going to double crochet. So it's a very nice easy round to do. The next one is right in the space between two groups of these double crochets. So you'll put in 2 double crochets. So noticing that I'm not chaining one in between them like I had been in round number 2. So what I need you to do for the remaining of the round is that we're gonna go in between 2 double crochets this time. So this is making space. And then the next one is in between 2 groups, which is right there. So let's continue to do this around. So between the double crochets, and now between the 2 groups. Between the 2 double crochets, between the groups. Between the double crochets, between the groups. Between the double crochets, between the groups. Between the double crochets, between the group. So coming around, we're going in between the double crochets, and now the last space that's available to you is the last group. Before you continue on, you need to make sure you have 16 groups. So just count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Once you have your 16, you're good to go. And then just slip stitch to the top of the chain 3. Pull things nice and tight, and now you're ready for round number 4 for the new barn size. Let's take round number 4 nice and slowly. It's very unique. We have to get ourselves to 19 groups, which is an odd number. So right where we're sitting is incorrect where we're sitting. So we need to get ourselves in between these 2 double crochets there. And you're going to push yourself as a slip stitch over, and now you're ready to begin. Let's take this round slowly. You're going to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3, and in the same spot double crochet. Then so the amount of repeating is very unique, so just hang on with me and just kind of crochet with me in real time if you can. So you're now gonna come between the 2 groups and put in 2 double crochet. The next one is going to be between the 2 double crochet. And now the next one after this is in the space right after between the 2 groups. And now the game plan is gonna change. The next 5 groups are each going to go in between the groups. So you're gonna separate that one, and then you're gonna separate this one, go in the middle, and so you're gonna do that a total of 5 times. So starting in the first one, separate those out. So you're gonna say 1, you're putting 2 double crochets in each, so 1, and now go to the next one and then just pull it apart, and then 2, the next one is right there, 3, and the next one, it's 4, The next one is 5. Okay, hold here for a second. The next one is going to go in between two groups of double crochet, so in between. And now the next 5 in a row are going to do exactly what we just did. So we're going to separate the groups, the pair, and just push them in, and you'll do that 5 times in a row. So we'll do this next one. So 1, look for the next pair and go in between. This is 2, 3, we have 4, and then we have 5. And now the game plan is going to change then for the remaining of this round. The next 4 will go into spaces in between the groups. So we start with the next space available to you, and you'll start and you'll put 1 in there, so you're doing 4 in a row. So go into space between the two groups. This will be number 2. Space between the next groups. This is 3. It all balances out, you'll see. And then you'll come into the next one in between. And you're technically done. It feels like there's a lot being left out in the open when you get all the way around. So you're just going to slip stitch to the top. But before you do that, I want you to verify there's only 19 groups. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. And that's 19 groups as promised. So once you get that in, just slip stitch it to the top of the first chain 3 and pull things nice and tight, and that should kind of hide that a little bit in. And the next round is all rounds, and you can fast forward in the video using the chapters to go to all rounds next. So I'll see you there in a moment. So now we're going up to the 3-month size. We're going to progress to rounds number 3 and 4, which are unique to this size. In round number 3 we need to transition and get ourselves to 16 groups. This is exactly the same that we just did for the newborn size if you want that information. However, it's going to be round number 4 that's going to change. So in round number 4 in the newborn size we only had 19 groups. Here we're going to end up with 21, and so that just bumps that up a little bit bigger in order to accommodate for a growing child. So let's now move on to rounds number 3 and 4. The ones that are in red are in between two groups, are in between 2 double crochets, and the ones in black are the ones that are in between 2 groups. So let's begin to do this next. So let's begin to do number 3 for the up to 3-month size. Right where we're sitting is incorrect. We need to come in between 2 double crochets there. So you have the 2 double crochets, and then you have the space in between a group. So you're gonna come right in between the 2 double crochets and slip stitch. And now you're going to chain 3. So 1, 2, and 3. And in the same one you're going to apply 1 double crochet. Okay, so this is a nice easy round comparison comparing to the others. If you've done the newborn size you'll know that as well. So now you're gonna come into the next space in between the 2 groups and apply 2 double crochet, noticing that there's not a chain 1 space in between them anymore. That was just in the last round. So now you're gonna progress. You're gonna come in between the 2 double crochets in a group and put 2 double crochet there, and then the next one is in the space between 2 groups, and you're gonna repeat that all the way around. But I'll stick with you today and we'll just continue to go in that formation. So between the 2 double crochet, you can put me on pause at any time, and the next one is between the space of 2 double crochet. The goal here is to get 16 groups. So even if you're screwing up, as long as you can count 16 groups, you should be okay. So between the 2 double crochet is next. And between the 2 groups. Between the 2 double crochet. Between the groups. Between the 2 double crochet. Between the groups. Between the 2 double crochet. Between the groups. Between the 2 double crochet. And finally for this round, it's going to be in the last space that's available to you. That's the very last one. So before you move on, I need you to verify that you have 16 groups. If something has gone wrong, get yourself to 16 and then you should be okay. So let's count those out. So 1, 2, 3. So I'm counting the groups. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Even as an experienced crocheter, I still will count. So I'm not counting for your benefit. I'm counting for my own. So once I have my 16, I'm going to slip stitch to the top of the chain 3, and then we're going to progress and get ourselves now to round number 4 before going to all rounds after that. Let's go to round number 4, which is part of the up to 3 months. So our goal now is to get to 21 groups. In the newborn size we only had 19, so the counting is slightly different as we're going around. So we're going to begin, and we need to get ourselves in between the 2 double crochets. So slip stitch over, just one over, and get ourselves there, and that's where your story will begin. I need you to chain 3, and in between those ones there you're going to apply another double crochet. Now the next 3 spaces in between the groups, so 1, 2, and 3 are each going to be 2 double crochet. So let's do that. So I just count, like I do a pair and then I say 1, and then come in between the space. This is 2, and then the next one in between a space is 3. It's a nice easy repeating around. The next one is going to separate 2 double crochets, so you'll do that one, and then the next 3 spaces after that will each be 2 double crochet. So just look for it. So it's a space in between, so 1, 2, and 3. So those will now have the pairs of double crochet. So we have 1, 2, and 3, and then we're going to repeat what we already know. So the next one here, do you see that? It's in between. It's in between 2 double crochet is a group, and then the next 3 spaces, so 1, 2, and 3 are each going to be 2 double crochet. So we have 1, just use your fingers and separate it. This is 2, and then 3. Okay, so let's do our repeat. So the next one is in between 2 double crochet, and then the next 3 spaces are each each a pair of double crochet. Okay. So are you seeing the commonality? The next one is in between 2 double crochet, and then how many spaces are going to be filled in with the pair double crochet? 1, 2, and 3. So 3. But wait, there's one more after this. So we have an odd number, which is 21. So the very last pair to go in will be in between the last 2 double crochets that are there. And this should take us to 21 groups. And at the end of this, I need you to verify, even as an experienced crocheter, I check. So 1 group, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21. So once I have my 21 and verified, I'm going to slip stitch to the top of the chain 3, and now I can progress to all rounds, which is coming up actually right after this segment. So this is where I am, and we're going to pick up everybody at the next part of this video. So welcome to all sizes. Everybody should be at this particular point. Your size of the circle will matter on the size you're working on. So obviously the smaller sizes, you'll have a much smaller circle. It's the circumference of your head. So this one here is where I just finished off with the up to 3 months. The instructions of where to stick your stitches are the same. The only difference is that the number going around is slightly different, and also the distance on how far you have to do this next round is also reliant on that. So before I bog you down with too much information, what I need you to do is that everything is working in sets of 2 at this point. And so you see the 2 groups. We're gonna be working in between each of the 2 groups now. We're not gonna be putting anything in between 2 double crochets. So when you start a new round, you're going to slip stitch to the space in between 2 groups. So you have to slip over once and then one more time to the space in between a group. And that's where you're gonna begin. So you'll do that each time you're coming around and starting a new round. As you start a new round, you are going to chain 3 and double crochet into the same spot. And I want you to keep these groups together. So for the ones that had kind of odd sizes, like the 19 groups or 13, this is going to cause the hat to balance itself. So you're just gonna play in between the 2 groups now going forward and just put in 2 double crochets into each. You're going to notice that the hat will start balling and making the forming of the shape of the head. So then you come in between the next group, and you're gonna do that all the way around. So I'll just show a few more just quietly. Use your fingers to separate it if you need to, if you don't see it. So whatever the amount of groups that you had left over on the last round, or wherever you were with the size hat you have, your number of groups around will be exactly the same. So I want you to go all the way around on your all sizes next, and I will show you what to do when you get all the way around, and then we'll talk about sizing from that point. So I'm coming up close to the end of the round, and I want to show you how to finish a round and then how to restart a new round. So this is the last space in between a group, because that's where we started. So you're just gonna slip stitch to the top of the chain 3, and now you're going to continue. So your goal is that when you fold the hat over, it's going to fold into the formation of the hat. For the sizes of the 3 to 4 pounds, it's going to be 3.5 inches between the top of the hat to where you're going to start the brim. So I need you to keep doing this until you're 3.5 inches. For the 5 and 6 pounds, I want you to do 4 inches. For the newborn, I want you to do 4.5 inches. So using your tape measure. And then for the up to 3 months, it's going to be 5 inches. So when you start a new round, all you're just going to do is that you need to slip stitch yourself to the next chain, the next space in between 2 groups. So you have to slip stitch over once and then twice to get yourself in between a group, and then restart. So chain 3 and then double crochet in and keep working in between the spaces. It's gonna become more obvious now that you're not growing any more stitches. You're just kind of maintaining what you already have and it will stay the same count. So what I want you to do is go the number of inches like I just suggested, and then what I'm going to do is that I'm gonna pick you up and show you how to do the final round and then just how to fasten off your yarn at the end, and I'll be there in just a moment. So let's talk about the ending of the hat. So my hat, because the yarn's so much thicker and the size, is not a real hat because if I keep on going it's gonna fit a giant. So I want to show you the end of the round. So this is the last round once you're happy with it. If you want to try it on a child's head you can do that and customize the height of the hat. You're more than welcome to do that. So to finish off this hat, what you're just going to do is right where you're sitting, you're just going to chain up one and apply one single crochet into each of the double crochets that you have. You're no longer going to worry about the spacing at all. So just stay within the double crochet and just single crochet yourself around. And this will provide a nice finishing edge for what you're doing. So continue around with the single crochet and then I'll show you how to fasten off your yarn in just a moment. So I'm coming up all the way around and I'm coming to the last double crochet before I started. So I'm just going to slip stitch to the beginning single crochet. I'm not quite done. What I want to do is just cut enough yarn so that I can throw it through a tapestry needle. This is wearable like it is. Then what's gonna happen is that tail will fall out if you just weave it in with your hook. So just pull through and pull. I want you to put this onto a tapestry needle. So any kind of projects that you have, this is the way to do it. And turn it to the inside of the hat. Take that tail and you need to drag it through some stitch work. Don't allow that hook, or sorry, that needle to hit the other side. So you should not see it. Just gather it within the fibers and pull through. When you pull it, don't change the shape of the hat, just pull it taut so it looks like it belongs there. And then you're gonna go back through a slightly different path in the opposite direction. If you go in the exact same path it'll just pull itself out. Then one more time in the other opposite direction. 3 times is the magic number. The more further that you go, the more it gets stuck in between. If you go in between fibers it's even better. So therefore that is your hat. So this is just kind of a miniature version. Almost looks like a beret at this point, but this is how you would do this particular concept, and it's actually not hard, and it's one of those ones that is a great charity builder as well as somebody special in your life. Have a good one. We hope to see you again real soon. Bye bye.